Oh, what's cracking, everybody? Rose here, along with Maggie with her little car that she's picked up in the last 5 minutes. Bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League. Don't you sigh at me. Bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. In today's video, I'm showcasing a team that has actually been on YouTube already. You know, Purple Kyogre actually worked on this team before. This is a team that I've actually been eyeing ever since the start of the season as well in Ultra League. Pidgeot and Cobalion are literally an unbreakable core. There's 4 things in the entire meta that actually beat them in the Sims on PvP Pokémon ones, so let that speak for itself. 4 things in the entire Open Ultra League that can beat these two. So this core is basically unbreakable, so it's really just a matter of which way you want to play it. In this video, I'm taking Pidgeot. Double Steel is the route that I'm going here with my G-Fisk, my Pidgeot, my Cobalion. Now, I know that this is a heavy XL team, and yes, I know that not everyone's going to have access to it, but at this point, I mean, G-Fisk has been around, Pidgeot, Pidgey-XLs have been around for a long time. At this point, they're becoming accessible, and it's not exactly out of the realm of possibility for someone to want to play a team like this. So, anyway, this team's busted. Let's talk about it for a second, though, right? So you've got Pidgeot with the wing attack buff. That means that the feather dances are coming out in 14 turns. That outpaces just about everything meaningful in this meta. So you can basically debuff before they can get a move off. And if they get to a move before that, it's probably not that hard-hitting of a move. And Cobalion cores perfectly with it, being able to just completely clown on steel types and other things that really beat Pidgeot. And then G-Fisk is in the back as a safe switch that is able to go for Rock Slides, Earthquakes, and it's just really versatile because of that moveset. And if you end up, you know, winning lead and your opponent switches out, you have the option to throw a Feather Dance and then bail into one of these two and ensure that you're getting a ton of energy as well as winning that matchup. So real quickly, we'll do the housekeeping bit right here. You're gonna not say anything because you've got a car in your mouth, so I'll just do the talking this time. And real quick, first of all, we've got a promo going on my Metafy. That is going to be until the end of the year, so that's on the 31st of December, Central Time, 11:59 p.m. That is going to be ending, so you can purchase anything on my Metafy page for coaching and get 30% off, which is an even bigger discount than I give to my patrons. And you're only going to get it this time of the year, so, you know, if you're going to do it, this is probably the good time to do it. And then it's on everything. Training plans, lessons, sessions, everything. And as well as that, also my Patreon Discord is really just the best place to be if you want to improve at Go battling and PvP in general. The people in that Discord are absolutely amazing, and the content that you're going to be getting from myself, whether it's going to be my teams, my strategies, my videos, anything is going to happen before it hits YouTube. And there is so much growth of all the members happening there. It's actually astounding. So get involved in that. Less than $5 a month, and you could even go higher if you want a higher tier. But like, the amount that you're going to get for that investment is huge. So let's stop talking about all the things that I can do for you and talk about how great this team is, because honestly, it's busted. So let's get right into these battles here. We've got Pidgeot on the lead versus Walrein. This is not a lead that I really care to be a part of, so I'm going to save switch immediately into my G-Fisk here and try to go for Rock Slides. My opponent is staying in, which means that I may actually core break them with this G-Fisk, which is really interesting. You know, to be honest though, G-Fisk is not a super popular pick in the Ultra League just because it's not like dominant against things that you usually see, and people can play around it, but it's very strong, and I've got one built, and I'm like, you know what, I'll use it. Also, as far as the best buddy ribbon goes, you can go either way. I put it on my Pidgeot just to ensure that I win CMP against other Pidgeots that may be on the lead, but you could definitely put it on G-Fisk for just that little extra bulk that you're going to get from it as your safe swap. So my opponent is going to be able to get to an Earthquake here, and I do shield to respect it because they shielded up to try and block the previous Rock Slide. So now we CMP, and I'm going to be able to get this Rock Slide off here. And my opponent is staying in with their Walrein, so I'm thinking they either don't have an answer to my G-Fisk, or they have a better answer in the back to my Pidgeot. So I'm going to go for this Rock Slide, and I purposefully overfarm here because I expect a catch, and because I know that because they just threw the Rock Slide, they're not going to get to another one, or because they just threw the the Earthquake rather, they're not going to be able to get to another one. But because they swapped in Cresselia, I'm going to save my Stunfisk just a bit, and I'm going to come in with my Pidgeot because this may well be the best matchup that Pidgeot's going to get. And with that HP difference on the Cresselia, this is going to allow me to go for a Brave Bird and almost KO it. And because they just threw that Future Sight, I'm going to overfarm a bit more and go for 2 Brave Birds, probably. Brave Bird 1's going to connect, and because we CMP tied, I don't have any shields left. They're going to be able to take me out, but this is going to be a really, really nice farm down for one of my 2 Pokemon here, and I'm going to opt to put it on my Cobalion. So we're going to go for Cobalion here because I know that my Sacred Swords can come out faster than their moves can, but honestly, I'm also fine just to take a move. But my opponent comes in with a Talonflame, and I don't know about you, but that was probably not the wisest decision. Maybe they were just getting me to spend my energy. They were trying to catch a move, but instead they caught these hands and got a screenshot. Absolutely taken down. That got Maggie excited. Now she's up. And Cobalion is going to be able to easily destroy the rest of this team. The opponent is going to go for an Earthquake against Cobalion. That's fine. I'm going to switch immediately into my G-Fist because I know that they're not going to be able to switch out here because they just switched their Cresselia. Or they just switched out of their Cresselia into their Talonflame. And they're going to go for an Icicle Spear here. G-Fist is getting low, but I'm going to go for the Earthquake, or go for the Rock Slide, rather. And I know that Cresselia is super, super low. So I should be able to take it out with just some Mud Shot damage, but I'm not able to get there. And now it's just a matter of which of my Pokemon are going to be able to take out this Cresselia. And it's going to be Cobalion because I had a move stored because of all that energy that I farmed up against the Cress earlier. Oh, honey. You just want to lay down? You just want to lay down? Okay. Anyway, that's going to be a good game. You woke up the doggies upstairs, you little butthead. That was actually probably your uncle coming home. All right. We've got Pidgeot in the lead versus a Giratina with Shadow Claw. This is a really solid lead. I just have to be careful in case they're running Ancient Power. As long as they're not running Ancient Power, I'm fine. I'm going to shield up the first move just in case it is an Ancient Power. They would probably go for it now. Dragon Claw is all they've got, so I'm kind of suspecting that maybe they're not running Ancient Power at all. So I'm going to keep farming until they throw another move, and they threw on the second Dragon Claw count, so I know for sure that they're not running Ancient Power at this point. So I'm going to start going for Brave Birds because my opponent's not going to shield this. Even if it's a Feather Dance, they wouldn't shield it. There's no mind game to play with something that's Giratina. Okie dokie, honey, baby. Why are we so angry, baby? Huh? You want to get put down? You don't want to be in the video this time? You know, if I put you down, you're going to get angry. If you want to go, you go. Be free. Be free, young child. Yep, there she goes. Yep, you can see her in the background. Just off she goes. All right, so I'm going to let Pidgeot go here because I'm expecting my opponent to be somewhat weak to my G-Fisk and my Cobalion in the lead, or because they're in the back. So my opponent's going to come with Cresselia. That would have been a good matchup for Stunfisk. But I'm going to get a Brave Bird off before going down here. And my opponent's going to immediately swap into Charizard. And this is a problem. So Charizard is something that I'm finding increasingly common in the Open Ultra League. And it is an incredibly strong closer if my opponent has something in the lead that consumes my Pidgeot. Now, thankfully, I'm also aware that Rock Slide will one-shot this Charizard just about. I have to find out how much damage Blast Burn does, and I'm pretty sure that it one-shots my G-Fisk, which it does, so that sucks. Bye-bye. I don't have a win condition here, by the way. It's gone. I was hoping they were going to bait with a Dragon Claw, but they went straight for the Blast Burn and blew my nuts off, so I had nothing else I could do, so they're going to get 2 Gabooms. Opponent clowns on me that game, and that was very well done by them. Yeah, Charizard sweeps this team once Pidgeot's gone. And even then, with Pidgeot here, you still have to be careful of it. So, but you do have rock damage in the back on both Pokemon, which is going to allow you to handle the Stunfisk. Or going to allow your Stunfisk or Cobalion to handle the Charizard. So you have that option. It's just a matter of whether you can get there. But my opponent has a Shadow Ball, Bubble Beam, Jellicent, and they're staying in. So I'm thinking maybe this is the tried and true team of the Jellicent Scrafty core, and that's why they're being core broken right now by my Pidgeot. But they keep going for Bubble Beam, which means I don't have anything to fear here because they're not going to go for Shadow Ball. I'm going to go for Feather Dance. That was perfect. They shield up the Feather Dance, meaning they were afraid of the Brave Bird. So honestly, I could swap out if I wanted to. But my opponent does it for me, and they come in with a Mandibuzz, which means I'm going to be able to counter not with my G-Fisk, but with my Cobalion. And the reason why I counter with Cobalion is because my G-Fisk has more play against the Jellicent than my Cobalion does. And I can still leave this matchup with a lot of energy if I want to because of Stone Edge. It's going to be able to do a ton of damage to the Mandibuzz outright. And then I'll be able to start chipping away at it. With my Sacred Sword. She is just absolutely fond of grabbing everything that is attached to my computer and trying to press the power button as well. That's not, sweetheart. let's not. We'll crawl around in another section of the room if you don't mind. Alright, so Stone Edges are going to be flying off the handle against this Mandibuzz. I don't necessarily leave with a ton of energy, but my opponent comes in with Deoxys. And at this point, I know that my G-Fisk has so much play against this person because they have Deoxys, which only really has counter damage to do anything against this G-Fisk. So I'm going to continue to just do as much damage as I can with the Cobalion. I realize I'm not going to reach another Stone Edge, so I just kind of go for this chip damage that's going to be off my Sacred Sword. And then I'm going to come in with G-Fisk, because G-Fisk can easily absorb all the energy off of this Deoxys. And my opponent just comes straight in with a Jellicent. I quickly swap in my Pidgeot, and that's going to be a good game, because the opponent does not like to play that out from there. They know that they've been just hard countered, and that's unfortunately just the way it is. So Swampert leads are going to be nice, because this is where you want to see the Swampert. And so I'm going to stay in, and you are staying in as well. You are not leaving. Try to escape with the dog. I'm going to go straight for a Feather Dance here after shielding the first Hydro Cannon, because I want my opponent to think that I may be going for a move here. Now, this is all mind games. The opponent may or may not shield. Sometimes I'll go straight for Brave Bird, sometimes I'll go for the Feather Dance, but my opponent swaps in a Giratina here, and going for the Feather Dance here is actually really important. And the reason why is because I can now come in with my Stunfisk without any fear of what's going to happen to me, because if they're running Ancient Power Dragon Claw, which is why they would probably come into a Pidgeot in the first place, they're running Shadow Sneak. So with the lowered attack, now I'm going to be able to freely go for these Earthquakes and not have to worry about anything. My opponent's Swampert is just not going to be able to come in to a loaded Stunfisk and not have to worry about it, especially because I can come out of this just about close to an Earthquake. So Earthquake 1's going to land. And I'm going to farm up as much energy as I can. My G-Fisk is just sitting pretty with as much health as it wants to. This opponent's Giratina is not going to be able to handle, and they're going to swap straight into their Swampert, and they're going to be able to beat me to a move. Now, I know Hydro Cannon doesn't even KO G-Fisk from this range, which is kind of stupid. So I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to go for the Earthquake here. I'm going to try and either get the shield off of my opponent or get a ton of damage off against their Swampert. And so they do not shield it, and I'm immediately coming in with my Pidgeot because my opponent also shielded. That means I'm going to be able to... I could let this go if I wanted to, but I'm going to shield it because I feel like my Pidgeot might have some play against their backline as well, especially because they have a Giratina. But I'm going to farm the Swampert all the way down, and they do get to a move because Swamperts always have a million energy. They've always got to move. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they have no farm at all. I'm going to put both shields down on my Pidgeot here because I know that the Giratina's got very farmable health left, and I'm going to go for the mind game here. I'm going to go for a Feather Dance against the Walrein and then go for the Brave Bird, but hoping that maybe they think I'm going to go for the Brave Bird and shield, but they do not. But I do know also now, because of the fact they've got Walrein, Cobalion is going to sit very nicely against the rest of this team here, even though it's a Giratina on the back. I'm going to easily be able to get to, charge moves that I need against the Giratina, even though they're running Shadow Sneak. So the Icicle Spear is going to come out. My opponent realizing that if they continue to try and farm me down, they're going to have to catch these hands. My opponent comes in with the Giratina, and they have a lot of work to catch up on, and they did use their energy on the Walrein, so they definitely don't have enough for an Earthquake quite yet. So I'm going to go for the Stone Edge here. Well, I was going to go for Sacred Sword bait, then my opponent threw their energy. So I may now just go for the Stone Edge here, because I know that I just need to get to 2 Stone Edges, and I'm thankful that they actually threw the energy, because they probably wouldn't have shielded that bait. All I have to do is basically double kick down the Walrein, and my opponent tries to call a bait there, and they fail miserably, and unfortunately for me, they let that one last double kick through, which means they have 1 HP, and they have to throw an Earthquake here, and if they throw the Earthquake, that means they cannot get to an Icicle Spear in time for my G-Fisk to Mudshot down, and that's going to be a good and close game. So I think I've got one more battle left in the showcase here. Charizard leads are actually, this is where you want to see the Charizard, because you actually get to the Feather Dance and Brave Bird at the same time they get to their Blast Burn. So what happens here is I like to shield the Blast Burn, and that usually triggers the, oh, they're shielding the first move because they don't want to tank increase, they want to Feather Dance so that they don't take as much damage. Now I'm going straight for the Brave Bird here, and they tank it, and that's why it's important to go for the Brave Bird instead. Even if you go down a shield, you're going to take care of that one thing that is a huge threat. And they've got Giratina, and they got Cresselia. They consciously switched the Giratina out and put in the Cresselia to my Stunfisk, which is actually a lot better for Cobalion, I think. Depending again on the moveset, you know, if the Giratina is running Dragon Claw, Ancient Power, which some of them are, that means that they get completely walled by Steel types, and that actually becomes a very good situation for my back line. However, if they're running Shadow Sneak, it's a little bit less so. But thankfully, Cobalion is just so spammy, it gets energy so quickly, and my opponent is dumping their final shield on the Cresselia, which means that I've basically got play around the board. My Pidgeot's still got plenty of HP left, and if I can get to a point where that Giratina is the last thing they have left alive, I can debuff it all the way down with 2 Feather Dances if I need to. And then I'm going to be able to just go for Stone Edges with the Cobalion at that point. So I'm in a very good position here, I think. I'm going to let my G-Fist go. I have no real reason to keep it at this point. It's done its job and then some, I believe. And my opponent does come in here, and I'm going to throw this Rock Slide right before they're able to take me out. Didn't quite get sniped, but was very close. The opponent was very close. They just needed to do a little bit more damage. Get the chip damage with that, and now I'm going to be able to get to a move with my Pidgeot here pretty quickly. I'm going to find out what move they have, and I'm going to shield a potential Ancient Power here because I don't want to tank all that damage, and they do have Ancient Power. So it's very important now that I know that, because now I know Cobalion can easily just handle it. It completely walls its moveset for the most part, except for the Shadow Claw, and they do not shield at the Brave Bird, obviously because they can't. They don't have shields. So I'm going to actually swap out and look to catch a move now that they're at the Dragon Claw, or the Ancient Power, rather. And I catch the Ancient Power, and the opponent is now going to have to just kind of farm up as much energy as they can. And I've got Stone Edges for days, and they have a resisted moveset against Cobalion. So I'm going to keep farming because I want to have the energy, rather, for the Cresselia when it comes back in. And that's exactly what I was waiting for, was my opponent to bring that Cresselia back in so that I could Stone Edge it to death. About 2 Stone Edges from this range should be enough, so I'm going to go for 1 double kick with good timing and get the Stone Edge off, and then probably do the same thing again. If I have to, I'll throw an alignment here, because that's just going to enable me to get to that next Stone Edge regardless, and I don't want to have to wait around for it. But this is going to allow me to take out the Cresselia, and then the Giratina is so low and its moveset is walled that even Pidgeot could probably farm it down at this point. So my opponent concedes the match, and that's a good game, and that is going to be the final battle of that set. Just threw some games together over the course. I had a really good couple of days with this team before the meta kind of shifted against me. But anyway, so again, Pidgeot Cobalion is like the unbreakable Ultra League core right now. It's stupid good. And if you're playing anything in the Ultra League and you have these 2 Pokemon, you could definitely center a team around them, and your safe swap could be literally anything that's just really good. G-Fisk was my choice because it would take out a fighter that Pidgeot could farm down, but you could easily flip it and put Cobalion on the lead and have like a double flyer in the back, or you could do really anything you wanted with this team because the core is so strong, and it's just a matter of finding the right safe swap to lure out the thing for the thing in the back to avoid and for the thing in the lead to farm down. But anyway, if you want a full analysis of that strategy, you can either set me up with a coaching session and we'll go over that together, or you can join my Discord and we'll get plenty of access to those kinds of strategies. But anyway, that's going to do it. I hope you guys are having a great Ultra League. Looking forward to the Ultra League Holiday Cup and also Open Master League. Probably not yet, but I'm working on it. Anyway, that's going to do it for you guys, for me for this video. You guys, thank you so much, and you have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.